What would you do if your wife's own sister moved into your house and slowly poisoned your wife against you for months until she looked you dead in the eyes and asked for a divorce? That night shattered me completely. My name is Alex. Emily and I had been married for 7 years. We had a beautiful 3-year-old daughter, Sophie, and a good life in Austin, Texas. I thought our marriage was solid. Then Rachel, Emily's older sister, went through a messy divorce and asked if she could stay with us for just a few months. We said yes because family helps family. But Rachel didn't come to recover. She came to destroy. From the first week, she started her silent manipulation. Every day after I left for work, she would spend hours whispering to Emily that I was too controlling, that I didn't appreciate her, that I was probably hiding money, and even hinted I might be cheating. She played the perfect caring big sister while making me the villain in my own home. I watched helplessly as Emily started questioning everything I did, picking fights over nothing, and becoming cold and distant. The woman who used to smile when I came home now barely looked at me. Intimacy died completely. The only time I saw my wife happy was when she was with Rachel. Within 8 months, our loving home felt like a battlefield and I was the enemy. The final blow came on a rainy November night. Emily sat me down in the living room while Rachel was out with friends and said, "Alex, I want a divorce. I'm not happy anymore." Those words hit me like a freight train. My heart broke as I thought about losing my daughter and the life we built. I wanted to throw Rachel out and expose her lies right then, but I knew it would only push Emily further away, so I stayed calm. I told Emily I still loved her and would give her space. That same night, while Rachel slept peacefully in my guest room, I sat alone in my truck in the driveway until sunrise, crying silently and feeling powerless. In that moment of pure pain and rage, I made a cold vow. I wasn't going to just save my marriage. I was going to destroy the sister relationship between Emily and Rachel forever and make Rachel regret ever stepping into my house. For the next 14 months, I played the perfect heartbroken husband while secretly investigating Rachel's life. The emotional torture of watching my wife turn against me was unbearable, but I stayed patient and quiet. If you've ever had an in-law try to destroy your marriage from the inside, drop a in the comments right now. This true story is just getting started. Those 18 months of being treated like a drug addict and thief by my own family were some of the darkest and loneliest times of my life. Derek continued playing the perfect grandson, visiting our grandparents regularly, acting all concerned, while secretly draining their savings through fake investment schemes. I watched from the outside as the family praised him and avoided me like I was poison. I kept working my regular job during the day and spent every night digging for proof. I got copies of wire transfers, fake contracts, and even recorded conversations where Derek bragged to his friends about how easy it was to fool the old people and how much money he was making. Every piece of evidence made my blood boil, but I stayed completely patient. I knew I had to wait for the right time so the whole family could see the truth at once. Thanksgiving was always the biggest family gathering of the year at my grandparents' house. I made sure I was invited by acting like I had accepted my mistakes and was trying to get clean. Derek looked surprised when I showed up, but still had that smug golden boy smile on his face. Everyone was polite but distant with me, like they were waiting for me to slip up. As we all sat around the big dinner table eating turkey, mashed potatoes, and laughing like nothing had happened, I felt the weight of 18 months of isolation heavy on my shoulders. Derek was telling stories and getting all the attention as usual, cracking jokes and acting like the hero of the family. That's when I decided the moment had finally come. I stood up quietly, picked up the remote, and connected my laptop to the big TV in the living room. The room went silent as the police report and bank records appeared on the screen, showing exactly how Derek had been scamming our grandparents for thousands of dollars. The look on Derek's face when the evidence lit up. The TV was something I will never forget. If this story has you on the edge of your seat, comment truth below. The real explosion was about to happen right at the dinner table. The entire family froze as the police report and bank records appeared on the big TV screen during Thanksgiving dinner. Derek's face went completely white. He tried to laugh it off at first, saying it was all fake and that I was just trying to cause drama again. But the documents were official and undeniable. I stayed calm and explained exactly how he had created fake investment opportunities and stolen thousands of dollars from our grandparents over the past 2 years. The room erupted into chaos. My grandparents looked shocked and hurt. My aunts and uncles started asking questions, their voices rising. Derek stood up quickly, knocking over his chair, trying to defend himself, but his voice was shaking and he couldn't find the right words. 20 minutes later, while the argument was still going strong, there was a loud knock at the front door. 2 police officers walked into the dining room. I had filed the report weeks earlier and timed everything perfectly so they would arrive right after the evidence was shown. The officers arrested Derek right there at the dinner table in front of the entire family. He was still holding a plate of turkey when the handcuffs clicked on his wrists. The silence in the room was deafening as they read him his rights. Derek was yelling that it was a setup and that I was the one who did everything. But nobody was listening anymore. They walked him out in handcuffs, while the whole family watched in complete disbelief. My grandparents sat there with tears in their eyes as the reality sank in. That single moment of public humiliation after years of Derek destroying my reputation felt like pure justice. The family hasn't spoken to him properly since that night. Some relatives even apologized to me right there at the table with tears in their eyes. If you're still watching this story and feeling the tension, comment "arrested" below. The aftermath that followed was even more satisfying than I imagined. The silence after Derek was handcuffed and walked out of the Thanksgiving dinner was one of the loudest moments I have ever experienced. My grandparents sat there with tears running down their faces as the reality of what he had done finally hit them. My aunts and uncles looked stunned, some of them whispering to each other while staring at the now empty chair, where Derek had been sitting with a plate of turkey still on the table. I stayed quiet and let the truth sink in for everyone. One by one, family members started coming up to me with shocked expressions, apologizing for believing Derek's lies and for treating me like I was the problem all this time. My grandmother hugged me tightly and said she felt terrible for doubting her own grandson. The mood in the house completely changed from festive to heavy as people began realizing how long Derek had been manipulating them. Later that evening, after the police left, my grandfather asked me to show them all the full evidence I had collected over those 18 months. I played the recordings and explained every transaction on the big TV, while the family listened in disbelief. Derek had been running fake investment schemes for over 2 years, taking thousands from their retirement savings. The anger in the room towards him grew stronger with every new detail. That night, for the first time in almost 2 years, I felt like I belonged at the family table again. Some relatives stayed late just to talk to me and hear my side of the story. The golden boy image Derek had built for himself was completely shattered in one evening. He was arrested for fraud, and the family hasn't spoken to him properly since that night. Many of them cut contact with him immediately. The satisfaction of watching the truth come out in front of everyone who had turned against me was deeper than I can describe. If this story is making you feel the justice, comment "exposed" below. The days that followed showed just how much damage Derek had caused. The days after Derek's arrest at Thanksgiving dinner brought a wave of apologies and guilt from the family that had turned against me for so long. My grandparents were devastated when they fully understood how much money Derek had stolen from them through his fake investment schemes. They hugged me with tears in their eyes and said they felt horrible for believing his lies and treating me like I was the problem. One by one, aunts, uncles, and cousins reached out, admitting they had been wrong and that Derek had manipulated them all with his charm and convincing stories. The golden boy image he had built over the years was completely destroyed in a single night. Derek was charged with fraud, and the police investigation revealed even more scams than I had found. He tried calling family members from jail, begging them to believe him, but nobody was listening anymore. The family group chat that used to be full of his jokes and photos became quiet and heavy. For the first time in almost 2 years, I was invited back into the family fold with open arms. My grandparents asked me to help them sort out their finances and recover what was left of their savings. The satisfaction of sitting at the dinner table again without being looked at with suspicion was something I can't describe in words. Derek's arrest became the talk of the extended family, and the story spread quickly through relatives who weren't even there that night. He lost the respect, the trust, and the love of almost everyone who once praised him as the perfect grandson. I never wanted revenge for revenge's sake. But after years of being labeled a drug addict and thief in my own family, watching the truth come out in front of everyone felt like justice finally being served. The lonely holidays, the suspicious looks, the isolation, it all became worth it that Thanksgiving night when Derek was handcuffed, while still holding his plate of turkey. If this story has you feeling the satisfaction, comment justice below. The healing in my family started from that moment. The weeks following Derek's arrest at Thanksgiving brought a slow but powerful healing to my family that I never thought would happen. My grandparents started trusting me again and asked me to help them sort through their finances and recover whatever was left from Derek's scams. I spent many evenings at their house going through papers and talking about everything that had happened. They told me how sorry they were for believing Derek's lies and treating me like I was the problem all those months. Other family members also reached out one by one, admitting they had been wrong and that Derek had manipulated them with his charm and convincing stories. The golden boy image he had built over the years was completely shattered in a single night. Derek was charged with fraud and the police investigation revealed even more scams than I had found. He tried calling family members from jail, begging them to believe him and help him, but nobody was listening anymore. The family group chat that used to be full of his jokes and photos became quiet and heavy. For the first time in almost 2 years, I was invited back into the family fold with open arms. We had another small family gathering a few weeks later, and it felt completely different. People were warmer with me, asking about my life and actually listening. The lonely holidays and suspicious looks I had endured for so long finally started to fade. Derek lost the respect, the trust, and the love of almost everyone who once praised him as the perfect grandson. I never wanted revenge for revenge's sake. But after years of being labeled a drug addict and thief in my own family, watching the truth come out in front of everyone felt like justice finally being served. The satisfaction of sitting at the dinner table again without being looked at with suspicion was something I can't describe in words. This experience taught me that patience and gathering real proof can turn everything around when people closest to you betray you. If this story has kept you watching and you're feeling the justice, comment truth below. The final healing and how my family moved forward comes next. The months after Derek's arrest brought real healing to my family that I never thought was possible. My grandparents slowly recovered some of their savings with my help and started trusting me again, like they used to when I was a kid. They apologized many times with tears in their eyes for believing Derek's lies and treating me like I was the problem for so long. Other family members also reached out one by one, admitting they had been completely fooled by Derek's charm and convincing stories. The golden boy image he had built over the years was completely shattered that Thanksgiving night and has never been repaired. Derek was charged with fraud and is still dealing with the legal consequences. He tried calling family members from jail begging for support and saying it was all a misunderstanding. But almost everyone cut contact with him after seeing the full evidence. The family gatherings feel completely different now. I'm invited to everything again and people actually listen when I talk. The lonely holidays and suspicious looks I endured for nearly 2 years finally became a distant memory. I never wanted revenge just for the sake of hurting him. I just wanted the truth to come out in front of the same people who had turned against me. Watching Derek get handcuffed at the dinner table while still holding his plate of turkey was one of the most satisfying moments of my life. This experience taught me that patience and gathering real proof are far more powerful than screaming or fighting back immediately. Sometimes the best way to win against family betrayal is to stay quiet Build your case and let the truth explode at the perfect moment. My family is closer now because of what happened, and I feel like I finally got my place back. If you've ever been falsely accused or betrayed by someone close in your family, this story shows that justice can still come even after years of pain. If this true story made you emotional or gave you hope, smash that like button hard right now. Share it with anyone who might be going through similar family lies or betrayal. Drop your own cousin or family betrayal stories in the comments below. I read every single one. Let's build a community that doesn't stay silent. This was my real story. It hurt like hell, but the truth finally won. What's your story? Thanks for watching all the way through and stay strong out there.